If you could go back and relive that entire experience, is there anything you would change that might make a difference?
I don't know if there's anything in realistically that I could change or would change or try to change. It might even, I think the only way you could beat these guys if you decide to lie. And I'm not going to lie because I have a 302 that nobody has seen, that they offered me time off if I would cooperate and come up with something. And I hope to show you this 302 someday so that you know what I'm talking about. And I said, well, you know what? What I will do is if you want me to go to grand jury, I'll go. But I'm only going to say what I say, not what you say. If you want to write something out like you did with against me, I'm not going to go for that. They said, and then their answer was, well, to the extent, whatever, it depends on how much information would depend on what we could do for them. Well, I didn't do anything for them, and they didn't do anything for me. I think that sums it up for me. If there's nothing, the only way, if you want to do, if you want to, I don't know if that's what you mean. What would you do differently? I certainly wouldn't make up a story. That's one thing I know I wouldn't do. I mean, I'm not going to hurt some guy or some family for some fantasy kind of stuff that these guys do. And I guess in answer to your question too, no matter what I would do, just like the judge said, you can't beat them. And I think, what is it, 98, 99% of the cases they win? Something like that. And it doesn't make any, shouldn't wonder so much, how do they do it? Well, it's real easy.
It's rigged.
They have the tools, okay? The defense cannot give anybody immunity. In my case, and I don't know about other cases, they gave 9 people immunity. Defense, I mean, the Justice Department can drop RICO charges against a guy like LeBou. You don't realize what that is? This guy's looking at maybe 70 years. He stole from his father. He lied to he lied to the grand jury. He lied about a 45,000 check as a kickback that was cashed at his own currency exchange. Never got indicted for that. What would you do? I wouldn't do it, but he did. In fact, when he admitted lying and cheating his father for 14 years in business, I swear to God, Phil, I looked at one of the jurors, and it was one of the jurors. He went back. He said, "Wow, this guy is rotten." Guess what? He found not guilty. How did this guy, feeling the way he felt, voted to let him go? By getting us, of course. And that had all to do with the water line thing and with Louise Marshall and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't make any difference. Now, Louise Marshall was an African-American woman, and the guy that was stunned by LeBou stealing from his own father, he was African-American. I said, in between all this stuff, I said, they can never convict us. What credibility does LeBou have? And guess what? He had enough to indict us. And it may sound funny, but it's not funny. But it's at the time, it's sort of that to go through that kind of stuff.
The former Attorney General of Arkansas, Mike Moore, was among the first public officials to recognize that the U.S. Department of Justice, or an element of it, has actually become the enemy of justice. He referred to the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag, which concludes with the words, "A nation indivisible, with liberty and justice for all." That promise, he says, has been broken. Would you agree?
I sure would. I lived it. I know. And like I said earlier, you can't, unless it's you or your own family's been through it, you could never believe some of these stories. You could never believe it. And you think about it, how can this good all-American boys, these prosecutors who bring all them boxes of information and they put it in the trial room and they make people think that they got all this kind of evidence, how could these boys cheat like that? They would never do that. Wow. And and they talk about their integrity and all that stuff, all phony. I'm talking about in my trial. I can't say this happens in every trial, but I would assume if it was like my trial, they do the same thing. It's a pattern. It's a mode of operation, the way they do it. And some of the people that I've talked to since being home and talking about this feel pretty much the same way. Not enough. Well, what can you do about it? That's the system, I guess. I don't know.
You told us earlier of a lawyer you met in prison who advised you to forgive, forget, and move on in relation to your legal troubles, and you told him that you're simply not built that way. Now, there's a difference between forgive and forget. Many people are able to forgive. Very few are able to forget. What would you say to a famous aphorism of Oscar Wilde, which goes, "Always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much."
I don't know about that. You know, the Louise Marshall, what she said after she got, I wish I had it here. You said you may have read it someplace, how she prayed for the judge and she prayed for the FBI and she prayed for the prosecutor, who are the ones that really nailed her bad. She forgave them. She said, I don't hate you. I wish your family the luck and all that. I'd say to that, does she really mean that? Because after a couple of years being at Duluth, I became friendly with a nun, a sister, Tim. She was a nun that would visit the prison a couple of days a week, Wednesdays and Sundays, and we became very good friends. And I gave her almost everything I had in with me about that trial. And after a couple of months of her studying it and reading it, I swear to God, she comes back to me and she says, she used to call me Charlie, just like my father. She said, Charlie, you got to forgive them because it doesn't help to hate them. And I said, sister, your boss may talk to you like that, and maybe you could forgive him, but I got to be honest with you, sister. I'm not that strong. I cannot forgive him. I cannot let it go, and I'm still living that. I can't let it go. I'm sorry. It's not that easy. When I think about what they did to me, my family. But anyway, it's it's hard. It really is. Whenever I think about it, I've been living with it 20 years, and I never get over it. I'm sorry. I just can't.